You are watching SGTV, Socially Good Television.
Manhood is such an important topic of discussion because we know so many young persons are growing up without a significant understanding of what it means to be who they really are becoming, and that is a man. The reason manhood maybe is so difficult, it's like womanhood. These concepts are so big, they include so many aspects of our development, that it's impossible and highly improbable that an individual can define it. It's almost like love. Love is so amazing that the best we can do is not define it, but to acknowledge it when we see it. When we see a man, we tip our hat. We know that a man is different than a person who is not being manly. When I think of a man, I'm so fortunate, I bring to mind several people who were part of my own growth and development, my father being at the forefront of that list. And he was a person who was so deeply concerned about others. He extended himself in the community. He had a particular affection and feeling, sensitivity for people who were struggling. I think in large measure, that grew out of his own experience as a young person in the South, growing up, seeing so many injustices and seeing so many, persons finding it difficult to cope with all of the oppression that was a part of our society. That he made a decision, as he told me, early in life, to take that road less traveled, because so many of his relatives were alcoholics. And he could see, as a young man, the harmful impact of alcoholism on the people that he knew and lived with. That he said he wanted a different life, a quality life, and he passed on to us, that understanding that never make a part of your life anything that will handicap, cripple, depress your potential to be the best you can be. If a man means anything to me, it means that a person is strong enough to acknowledge, the worth of others and to respect the dignity of others. My dad did that. He just respected people, whether they were sober or whether they were inebriated, or whether they were taking care of their families or they weren't. He still had respect for them. And I learned that as a fundamental principle, to life, that if you want kindness, you got to learn to be kind. And if the world that you want is a world that will depend on you being what you want to become. So I give my father a lot of credit, and I also give him a lot of credit for passing on to me a good name. To be a man, you need to have a sense of your heritage, a sense of your mooring, where you began and how you got where you are. And we know that men have this one universal quality about them, that they respect their ancestors. They respect their elderly. They recognize if it had not been for those who preceded them, they would not have the advantage that they have. They wouldn't have the life that they have. And certainly they wouldn't have the good name. And African American is a great name. We must always tip our hat to the motherland, bear homage to the pond that gave birth to us, Africa. And kings and queens were there. And giants came from there, poets and playwrights had their nurturing there. And I've always found a man is humble enough that he can recognize the shoulders on which he stands. Show me a man, and I'll show you someone who pays tribute to others, especially to those who share their ethnicity and their birthline. My coach has played a big part in helping to shape my understanding of a man. What is a man? A man is someone who is disciplined, who believes that greatness has been given to him. It is there in the swampland of his immaturity, needing to be extracted and fashioned through training and knowledge and understanding so that he can sharpen his intellectual and spiritual tools to be able to be of great help to others. I've come to appreciate discipline and a man who kind of knows that he's on a journey of becoming, and who kind of knows, as we sometimes say in a colloquial way, God never made junk. He has the pride of his heritage, he has the pride of his history, but he has the pride of his hope. He just believes that he was created to become something that could add value to the community of which he's a part. And it's that pride that gives him strength to walk forward in faith, learning from his mistakes, surely, but at the same time, not being afraid, to take a step toward that which he seeks to do and that which he seeks to become. Now, my coaches helped me in that whole regard. Discipline, dependability. It was part of playing sports, is that you learn that you're part of a team and that your effort is only as good as the end result that the team experienced. There is no individual success, apart from the group success. As the group succeeds, the individuals succeed. And so I appreciate the coaches reminding us that you're part of a team and you owe your best to the collective effort to help the team to go forward. And I think that's a great quality in a man. Take Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was always about the wider community, not just African Americans, not just America, but our world. He thought in cosmic terms, only because he knew that he was a part of a universe, a part of a bigger kingdom. And King told us something about manhood. He said, the measure of a man is not what he does in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in moments of challenge and controversy. Now, if that's true, that whatever wounds another in some way has potential to wound you and ought to wound you, ought to hurt you, particularly if it's an injustice. And because a man is concerned about his community, about people, about his world, and he wants to leave the legacy of having at least tried to improve the quality of life around him. I appreciate that. I appreciate this last thing about manhood. I have a tendency to watch how people respond to their pain, because a man is able to reveal the depth of his character by his ability to be transparent, his ability to be open, his ability to do what is the shortest verse in sacred writ. It just simply says, Jesus wept. A weeping man is a strong man. He can tell the truth about what's going on inside. A weeping man is a brave man. He's not worried about how people might interpret his tears, or his sense of compassion for others. The strength of a man is found in his ability to be emotionally authentic, emotionally real, and yet at the same time spiritually strong. However he defines his spirituality, wherever he gets that strength from, it comes from beyond himself. He knows that. And he knows that it is that, whether it's a principle or whether, as in our Christian faith, it's a person, the person of God. He knows that he is made strong as he lives in relationship to that source of his strength. And as a consequence, he may cry, but he still believes in his conviction. He still honors his conscience. He still does what's right. He can still be a lonely voice and not give in to being a parrot of those who merely mouth sentimental statements but do not authentically live it out. Show me a man who lives his convictions, and I'll show you a man who fits in with all the ages and will feel very comfortable in the company of the martyrs who were very ordinary people who took a stand that was extraordinary. To me, that's a man.
Thank you for watching SGTV, Socially Good Television. Visit sociallygoodtv.com and remember to share this video.